Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to create some little houses using a silicone mould from my recent TEMU haul. I'm going to decorate them using flower stickers from the same order, hoping for a dried flowers effect. This is part 3 of this series and I will link part 1 and 2 in the description box. As I mentioned in part 1 of this series, when I unpacked the order, I have another little house mould similar to this, and I've only ever made solid coloured houses in it, both in resin and eco casting powder, but this time I wanted to see if I could do a clear top over these flower stickers and then a background, and all with the hope of making them look like dried flowers. I wanted to see if I can do that or not. So I needed to mix up some resin, and I'm using River Art Resin Deep Pour because I want a crystal clear finish on the front of these. I'm going through and I'm choosing some stickers and cutting them to size, although as soon as I tried putting them in, I realised just because they fit on the back doesn't mean they fit on the front. Now into the resin I popped a teeny little bit of this Snow White from Just Resin. It's a very fine dust and it just adds a teeny little sparkle to the resin, and I like using that whenever I'm using stickers that have the edge around them, because it does, in my opinion, help cover that up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take off all of these little pieces that I've cut out and flip the mould over, give it a little squirt with isopropyl alcohol, and then I'm going to pour in just a teeny little bit of resin into each of these. I just want it to coat the bottom and nothing more, and I'm hoping that these flowers that I'm going to be adding in just sit on that resin beautifully with no bubbles or anything like that. So I'm going to go through and place them in, but as I mentioned, as soon as I got started I could definitely see that some of them were not the right size, and I did have to do some trimming, which is a bit difficult when they've already got resin on them. It gets a bit messy, but anyway, that was my fault for not getting them to be the right shape. But once I was happy with them, I just popped them in, and I did use a little silicone tool to just gently push them down if I felt that they were moving around at all. I'd mixed up plenty of resin, so now I'm using the 6 circle silicone mould that also came in that order, and I'm just choosing some flowers to place down in there. Another one, these coffee cup moulds came in the same bundle, as did the butterflies and also the ovals that you'll see in a minute. So I just went mad. I just kept going. I thought I'll just put flowers in as many of these as I can, and yeah, it was fun to do, just making sure that you trim everything to the right size. And sometimes I would put a little bit of resin on the back after I placed it, just to sort of weigh it down. The leftover resin, I mixed that with a white mica powder, and then just did that little bear shaped mould to see what they were like, and also another of the oval moulds. So after this all cured for about maybe half a day, not quite a full day, I didn't need it fully cured, I just needed it at a gel state, I went ahead and mixed up some more resin, And this time I decided to tint it in 2 different shades of white. In hindsight, I don't really think I would bother doing this again because I'm not sure that it was of any huge benefit. But one, I used a titanium white pigment paste from Solid Solutions, and the other a white pigment powder from the same company. And my idea was that I would mix about half and half and then drizzle in a little bit of one and then backfill with the other. And as I said, I'm not really convinced that it was worth all of that effort. Probably I could have just put either one or the other down. So the part mixed with the titanium white is a very matte, flat white, and the part mixed with the mica powder was quite sparkly and sort of a lot of luster and pearlescent feel to it. After I'd filled all of the moulds with the flowers embedded in them, I mixed in some black mica powder to the remaining resin and just kept filling up moulds until I'd used it all up. I thought, well, we'll see what happens with the black ones. And here we are demoulding them 24 hours later, and they've all come out really beautifully. And if you recall from the unboxing video, I did purchase some really pretty fireworks stickers, and it was those in mind that gave me the inspiration to colour this amount in black. So here are just the 4 little white leftover resin pieces with the ovals, and here are the first of our floral pieces. And apart from needing a trim around the edge, they've come out beautifully. When you're doing something like this, you really have to just have the most minute amount of resin in before you do your backfill. But the 2 coffee cups came out beautifully as well. Now it's time to have a look at the butterflies, and again, I'm really happy with these. This is quite a chunky mould, the butterflies, they're quite thick. And then we'll have a look at the circles, and these were really pretty. The stickers just looked gorgeous. They really do look like dried flowers, which is exactly what I was hoping for when I put the stickers in there. And lastly, the little houses, and they were gorgeous. Now, this mould has a lot of detail on the front of it with the shapes of the windows and doors and things like that. But for this project, I'm basically ignoring that. You could definitely go over those and highlight the details, but I decided that I just wanted to have the flowers be the main thing, and they just look gorgeous. They really do look like dried flowers, which was my goal all along. Okay, so after I'd demoulded all of these pieces, it was then time to start decorating the blanks. So I've got the black set and the ovals. So here are the fireworks stickers there on the right, but also these are some beautiful black line art stickers that also came in the order, and I was really keen to see what these look like, so I laid them out. I loved how they didn't just have flowers. You can see there's some pears on a pear tree. They had raspberries and I think blackberries, and yeah, I'm really impressed with these stickers. They're very striking. So I chose some and just did exactly the same process, went ahead and chose some that I think would look really cute, popped it down. Now this time I have taken off the backing and use the adhesive and then press it into the resin piece, and then I just take a knife and I just whiz around the edge and trim off any excess of the sticker that's hanging over the edge, and it's super easy to do that. Once I'd finished those 4, I started on the black pieces, and these stickers are a little bit different in as much as they are a full sheet of sticker. And I mentioned in my unboxing video that they were very similar to the dragonfly stickers I've bought in the past, and that's because they are all just part of one sheet, and it means that you can either cut out individual pieces or you can just stick down the sheet and get all the different designs on there. So I decided to do the latter, and then all I do is trim the edges and exactly the same as before, then do a final trim around any overhang. And this meant too that any little bits that I didn't use on the curves, I could then go ahead and use on some of the smaller ones. So that all went really well, and I think that they looked really quite pretty. You can see there I haven't trimmed these ones yet, but as soon as you do, obviously, they look really neat. And I am, as much as possible, applying these stickers to the back of the item, which has a little bit of a dip and a ridge around it from the curing process, because that will make it easier for me when I apply the UV resin. So once they're finished, I then get out another pack of stickers from that order, and these are super pretty, but when I popped them onto the black, I wasn't convinced they were quite vibrant enough. So I did go back to that original packet of stickers and choose some of those to embellish the remaining black pieces. So, and they're much more vibrant, but the ones in that pack that I'm not using many of today, I did use a couple in the end, and they are beautifully, they look very much like dried flowers, really pretty and beautiful pinks. Now, 2 of these had a keychain hole in them, and I was going to use them for keychains, so I wanted to make sure the back looked as pretty as the front. So I'm popping a sticker on the back of both of those. And the coffee cups also, they are, I like things to have 2 sides where possible, so that if, you know, you've got a keychain on and it spins around, you can still see something. It's not just a plain piece. So I chose the different florals to go on the back of each of these. Then the next step is to seal the stickers that I placed on the blank pieces in with some UV resin. Now, because these stickers have the little clear edge around them, I mix in the tiniest little bit of the Snow White dust from Just Resin, and that does sort of break up that appearance and makes it a lot, I think it disguises the sticker really well. So I'm just using a small little timber stick to move the UV resin around, getting it right up to the edges. Then I use a torch to pop any bubbles, and then cure them initially for 60 seconds each. And yeah, just went through and did all of them one after the other. And once they were all done, it was then time to add magnets to the back. Because these are going to be fridge magnets, I'm using these heavy duty ceramic magnets and this E6000 glue, and all I do is pop a little dab of the glue on the back of a magnet, press it to the back of the piece, and there we go. And look, I'm really happy with how these came out. They are so pretty, and as I said, my goal was to have them looking like dried flowers, and indeed I believe they do. I'll show you some photos of the finished items in a moment. Thank you so much for joining me as I continue working with the materials that I unpacked in part 1 of this series, and I look forward to reading your comments. So here are the little houses. They came out so beautifully. And now the butterflies, the little circles and ovals, our little black on white set, the floral on black set, and the fireworks on black set, and lastly the little coffee cup keychains. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.